All right, Shalom. Well, let's start with saying, Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Harakak Wadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and double honors to my elder apostle as well down here in the Lions Den Camp, Harawan Bar Yashar. Salutations to the argument that are pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Khanak An Bar Yashar from the Lions Den Yashar Camp. And this is going to be exhortation, spiritual tsunami. It's not going to be short like a hydration. If it takes me a while to get to the point, I might do it in segments and parts. But, you know, it's going into this scripture right here, Jeremiah 51 and 20. It says, Jeremiah 51 and 20, it says, Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. With thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. All right. So, with that being said, with thee, who is he talking about? He's talking about the elect of Israel, using his elect as his weapon, just like how he used Esau as his sword against us. You see that? He used Esau to punish us for our transgressions against him. Now we get to return the favor. But not only to Esau, but to all these nations, man. Because all these nations had a hand in afflicting the children of Israel, not understanding that they're afflicting Yahweh Shemal Shai. So the Lord is using us to go to war with these nations. All right. So that's why, go figure, we're behind enemy lines, and we're gonna need an extraction to get out of here because everything's gonna be flatlined in this place. Right? But before we get to that point, there's different types of war. There's different gauges of war. All right. So you have conventional war, naval war, informational war. We're gonna go into that. Guerrilla war, aerial war, chemical war, nuclear war, and that's what's gonna be the end all tell all. Land war, biological war, electronic war, cyber war, psychological war. All right. You got proxy wars, you got, cold wars, things of that nature. All right. Well, here's the thing. Right now, there's also the major one is spiritual war. Spiritual war and psychological war could be one and the same, right? So let's go into psychological war. So now these weapons are going against each other because, hold on, let me get the scripture real quick. Okay, this is Psalms 17 and 13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. See that? The wicked is, that's the sword that the Lord used to come against us, to punish us. So now he's swinging his battle axe back, which is going to break that sword or break that scepter in half. You see that? So now, understanding that, we know that Yahweh Shemal Shai controls everything. They rule in the kingdom of men and set it up over whomever they will. And at this point in time, he has set up right now the basis of men, which is Esau. All right. But Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Yahweh's going to be sent down here to conquer. All right. Yahushua is sent down here to conquer. Let's get that real quick. Revelation chapter 6. And 1, it says, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of a thunder, one of the four beasts saying, come and see. And I saw and behold a white horse. See that? White means to be the brightness, to be dazzling. It says, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. See that? He went forth conquering and to conquer. That's talking about Yahushua. That's who was on that white horse. All right. Let me get another one. Revelation 19 and 12. It says, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself, and those that had the Father's name written in their foreheads. Those that have the like mindset as he, being Yahweh Shai. So it said his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. So he taken down every last kingdom that ever was erected on this earth. The Lord is at war with the nations. He's at war with the whole earth. Even 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 2/3 of his own people he's at war against. He said, even as of late, my people have risen up as an enemy. See that? Even as of late, my people have risen up as an enemy. All right. So now, understanding the battle axe and weapon of war. All right, let's go to another scripture. But you got to know how to fight this war. That you know what I'm saying? That Yahweh Shimei is fighting against the wicked. we're not to use guns and all that. You know. All right, this is Jeremiah 16 and 16. It says, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish men, right? And they shall fish men. What does that mean? Okay. That means, what did Yahweh Shai say? I shall make you fishers of men. Hold on. Wait a minute. Where is that at? Let me get that one real quick. All right. Real quick. All right. I got it down or further down, but let me go ahead and get it right now. It's going to come back again. But it says, uh, Matthew 4 and 16, it says, the people sat in darkness, saw great light, and to them which sat in the region in the shadow of death, light is sprung up. From the time Yahushua began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. All right. So right now, where that shadow of death is in America. See that? And that great light that we saw is the light from Yahweh Shem Shai reflecting off the elect. All right. It says, um, verse 18, and Yahushua walking by the Sea of Galilee saw two brethren, Simon called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea. All right. For they were fishers. And he said unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. So this is the way, you know, this is our part of the war right now. You know, we'll get our turn, you know, when it escalates into a different kind of war. Right now, it's just a spiritual, psychological warfare going on right now. So let's get a definition of psychological warfare. Um, Psychological warfare or psychological operation is a planned use of propaganda and other psychological actions to influence the opinions, emotions, attitudes, and behavior of targeted groups. See that? What is that doing? It's a warfare on the minds of the people to control them. That's warfare. The Willie Lynch, the Willie Lynch, um, was it Willie Lynch or Jim Crow? No, the Willie Lynch letter, where he said how you make a slave for 1,000 years or even eternity. What did he say? You have to turn the light ones against the dark ones. You have to turn the man against the woman. You have to turn the children against the man. You have to separate them, and you have to put the fear of God in them. He said they can no longer serve their God; they have to serve your God, which is you. That was an act of warfare on us, the children of Israel, man. So what did they do? They stripped us of everything. We were discontinued from our heritage, but that was all part of the plan. Jeremiah 17:4 it says, "And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies." Right? He put us behind enemy lines. "In a land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever." All right. So now he put us behind enemy lines for us to get our punishment and our judgment. But then he's going to rise us up behind enemy lines like sleeper cells and give us our mission. And our mission starts with being fishers of men. All right. As a matter of fact, one quick second. What we got? Excuse me. Let me get on. There we go. Oh God, this one. Got it today. All right. So now the first part of the mission is become fishers of men. And what are we doing? We're having peace talks. See, there's a ceasefire going on right now. The Lord's chilling. It's a ceasefire, right? And he's having peace talks. But there's only peace for the elect. So the ones that we're fishing for are the only ones that are going to be able to find peace. It's just a warning to everybody else that the Lord's going to bring judgment and that he's going to destroy all kingdoms that were erected on this earth. See? So, but there's peace. There's a peace talk going on among the fish that the Lord is asking us to gather in His name. So, like it said in Jeremiah 16:16, it says, hold on, let me get it again. Jeremiah 16:16, it says, "Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them." See that? So right now, and I'll read. I'll continue to read it. It says, "And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them every from every mountain and from every hill and out of all the holes of the rocks." See that? So those fishers are going to become hunters, and you know who all those other hunters too? Uh, that's going to be fighting along with them fishers that turn into hunters. Um, the angels. Hold on, let's get that. Hold on. Lord is at war with these nations, man. He pissed off. He pissed off as us, but he even more pissed off with them. They ain't got no hope. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. It's Joel 3:11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, and cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. See what that says? He's telling all the heathens because that's over the valley of decision or the judgment of Yahweh Shaphat, right? That's what's going to lead to that's Armageddon. That's what's going to lead to World War III. So the Lord said, everybody come together. And then also saying, cause the mighty ones to come down, talking about the angels. See that? So those hunters, those fishers are going to turn into hunters and they're going to be fighting with Yahweh Shai and the holy angels. Right? That's when those spiritual powers can come in. All right. So now those fishers, right? Let's talk about the fishers first. Being fishers of men. What does that mean? All right, that means going out there and gathering up the elect, the other soldiers, to fight alongside with you in this spiritual warfare that we're going through right now. You see that? That's crazy because Esau really ain't using his weapon like he can use it. He using our weapon, the spirit. He got majority of our people spiritually gone, falling behind confusion and nonsense and vanity. See that? But we're supposed to have the power of the spirit, but our spirit was taken away from us from trying to be carnal like these other nations. But now that spirit is being regained back into the elect, and now this is the process that we have to go through to fight this war against these nations, alongside Yahweh by Shem Shai. All right, so now we have to fish and recruit the ones that are meant to fight the battle. And that's a battle within itself. Because as we're recruiting, we're having a constant battle within ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because doubts come in. Are we worthy to fight in this fight? Do we really understand what this is? That's nothing but Esau's weapon used against. That's doubt is Esau's weapon. Doubt is deception. Because if we're chosen, right, by Yahweh by Shem Shai, how can we have any doubt in the path that we're directed to go? Because it's all being controlled by him. Doubt is a state of confusion, right? And it's deception. It is deception. Where does that come from? That comes from Esau. That comes from the devil. The word devil means deceiver. So any type of doubt that you have, and no matter who you are in the truth, that comes from the devil. That's wicked. Get that shit the farthest the fuck away from you. Because if you doubt anything about yourself, knowing that you were chosen to go down this path, you're doubting Yahweh Shema Shai, because he's the one that chose us. We didn't choose none of this. So now we have to come to terms with ourselves on not who the world made us, but who were we from the beginning. And that's what the Lord is trying to show us. And this is all part of the process, all right? So Matthew 13:47, it says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast out into a sea and gathered of every kind, right? And so that's why we go out there and prophesy to the wind. All right. Prophesy to the wind. It says, which when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good unto the vessels, but cast the bad away. Now, that's done spiritually and physically. That's being done right now. Like the ones that were caught up in the net, like look at Sakari, Alazar. Yeah, he was drawn in with that net, that line that's thrown out. Of the word of Yahweh Shema Shai, he was drawn in, but he was a bad fish, so he had to be tossed out. You see that? All the ones that are the ones that don't stick around were the bad fish that got cast out of the net, and the good fish were kept in vessels. All right. Ultimately, the vessel is going to be the chariots. But right now, it's the sanctuary of Yahweh by Shemal Shai. It says, "So shall it be in the end of the world. The angels shall come forth." Right. See, that's dealing with the chariots. So this is talking about the chariots, right? And it goes back into the wheat and the tares. So let the tares be cast. Let the wheat be kept in the barn, which is the chariots. Let the tares be cast aside to be burnt. And that's going to be that nuclear destruction. So when those mighty ones come down, when those angels come down, right? The ones that were gathered in the net, and the ones that were gathered in the net shall be preserved and put in vessels, and the ones that were bad shall be tossed to the side and burnt. All right, it says so. Verse 49 says, "So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just." And that severing process, that sifting, that separation. What does that word sever mean? Let me make sure. Sever. To exclude, disappoint, to divide, separate. See that? So that separation part is going on right now. But the angels are going to do the reaping. That separation part is going on right now. So now, as we're fishing, being fishers of men, the Lord is doing the separating. He's going to push the ones to the side that are not worthy to be a part of His crew. You see that? So now here comes the difficult part for the servants of Yahweh by Shemal Shai. So let's go back to let's go back to let's do this. I'm gonna have to I'll go back and forth like this. Jeremiah 51. All right. So Jeremiah 51 and 20, it says, "Thou art my battle axe and weapon of war." All right. "For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms." Right. And when that destruction comes, before that destruction comes, the Lord sends prophets out. See that? Mm. All right. So now let's go to Jeremiah 16 and 16. All right, we're probably going to try to take it all the way to 21 this time. All right, Jeremiah 16 and 16, it says, "Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of every holes of the rock." That's when the mighty ones be done came down by then. And we're going to be getting jiggy with it. All right, verse 17, it says, "For my eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes." Right. And who's iniquity? Everybody's. Not even just, man, listen, hold on. This is Amos chapter 9, verse 8. It says, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom." Who are the eyes of the Lord? The mouth of the Lord is a prophet, so we're the eyes too. So we're the ones that are sighing and crying for all the abominations that's being done in the midst. See that? We're the ones that are constantly pleading to Yahweh by Shemal Shai in this wickedness. We're the ones on the highways and byways giving warning of destruction that's about to come. All right. So as you have eyes in heaven, right? Just like when they fight wars for real, they got that big plane with that little satellite thing at the top that hovers way, 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 way high altitude and watches the whole war and gives direction from a damn airplane. They call it a shot. But then you have the troops that are on the ground. You see that? That's their eyes on the ground. And that's what we are to Yahweh by Shemal Shai. You see that? It says, "For the eyes of the Lord of Yahweh are upon the simple kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. So the fishes that are going to be turned into hunters are going to be preserved. For lo, I will command and I will sift, right? Sever. What does that word sift mean? Last one meant separate. To shake, to wander, to sift, to make move. All right. So when you sifting, right, that's a little thing that you like. What's the sift? All right, for the gold, right? You put it in this thing, right? You scoop the water and you put it in the thing, and as you're shaking it back and forth, the gold, the dirt, and other non-valuable particles are going to fall out, but the gold is going to stay there. See that? So now listen to this. It says, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it off the face of the earth. Saving, I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like how corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth." So you do the same thing with corn, like how you sift it. All right, let me see. Let me look that up. Okay. All right, sifting corn can refer to two different processes. Separating corn kernels from the cob after shucking, or separating different grades of corned meal or grits after grinding. Right? Separating corn. All right. So now when you're sifting, you're shaking it back and forth. As you take it off the cob, you're sifting it, shaking it back and forth, shaking it back and forth. And all the bad ones you're picking out and throwing to the side, right? But the good ones you're preserving and keeping. And that's what the Lord is explaining this. It says, Amos 9:9, it says, "For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations." So all nations being scooped up in this because we're trying to get, he's trying to get to the elect of Israel out through everybody, because you gotta understand we've been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So some of us are going to look like these other nations. So word has to go throughout the whole earth to gather his elect, right? Gather his fish, right? It says, "Like corn is sifted in the seas, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us." So they're not getting prepared. So the Lord is at war with them too. See that? All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. Prevent them from what? Continuing in their wickedness. All right. It says, "In that day will I rise up the tabernacle of David." That's what we fishing for. See that? "And close up the breaches thereof," meaning sealing up the way to truth. There's not going to be no hole, no gap in between that anybody can sneak in. It says, "And I will rise up his ruins, as in I will build it in the days of old." Man, see that? So we're going to seek the old paths. All right. So now let's go back to the Jeremiah 16:16 and see if we can make it to 21 this time.